It's a new era, and it's the biggest day in NASCAR Pepsi Cup Series history. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the world's center of racing, the Daytona International Speedway. We are now just a little bit away from the start of the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Later today, 40 drivers will go out on the high banks behind me and battle it out to realize a lifelong dream, winning the Daytona 500. This race has made careers and broken hearts over the last 6 seasons of the NASCAR Pepsi Cup Series, from Bubba Wallace's breakthrough win to Ross Chastain's crazy move in Season 4. One thing that has remained the same: expect the unexpected. Daytona can be and will always still be wild. I am joined today by my colleague Kobe Lavin here on the Midway.
Good morning, Daytona. It's finally time for a race we've all waited for throughout this offseason. This is the Daytona 500. This is the biggest race of your career. This is what can make or break your career.
It really is, Kobe. It's the Super Bowl of stock car racing, and Kobe is going to be playing a major part today in the Midway as y'all know, I'm racing in this. So it's going to be fun driving the number 58 Double Mint Honda Accord out there on the track today. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to race in the Daytona 500, the biggest race in America.
Before we kick off the season, it would probably be a good idea to refresh everyone on what happened last season. Thankfully, our producers at Firelinks Productions put together a movie of last season. Let's have a look.
In the wild card race for the playoffs, a big crash took out several big names, including Noah Gragson, who was eliminated following this crash. And then the final lap, Byron and Reddick racing for the final spot, while Todd Gilliland tries to pass Chris Buescher for his first career win up front. Gilliland would end up sparking a wreck that would involve both the 24 and 45, with the 24 crossing the line heavily damaged in front of the 45. In the round of 12, it all kicked off at Indianapolis, where Christopher Bell's playoffs would begin with a nightmare, flipping on the back straightaway. Here at Indy, the car catching air, landing back on all four wheels, but ending his day early. The final lap would end with Chase Elliott holding off a hard charge from teammate William Byron. Elliott led the race through turns 1 and 2 before Joey Logano spun out of 2, collecting Kyle Busch and severely hindering Kyle's playoff chances, as Christopher Bell found himself in more trouble at Watkins Glen on the final lap, as Kyle Larson, who had wrecked not even 5 laps prior, took the lead on strategy, hung on, and took the win at Watkins Glen over Chase Elliott and Michael McDowell. A huge win it was for Kyle Larson before heading to Bristol, where his race wouldn't even last 2 laps. Carson Hocevar and Kyle Larson again coming together, just like in the spring Bristol race. They both wrecked each other in the night race on just the second lap. The race would end ultimately with huge amounts of chaos, as Ross Chastain in the final 2 laps would go from 4th to 1st to win. Josh Berry initially took the lead off of a bump on Noah Gragson before Christopher Bell snuck to the inside, overruns the corner, and allows Chastain to go 3 wide and steal a victory. And that ended the round of 12. The round of 8 began at Talladega. The big one happened about halfway through the race, sending Harrison Burton flipping for the second time this season, and a chaotic final lap saw many of the leaders wreck, and Justin Haley steal a miracle win as the seas parted for him and the rest of the field wrecked behind. Haley would win over Chandler Smith as pretty much 2 of the only drivers to finish, alongside you saw there Matt DiBenedetto and BJ McLeod. The middle race of the round of 12 was at Orange County, the Pepsi Cup Series' first dirt race. Christopher Bell had a very strong 20 car all day long, and he beat Kyle Larson to take the win in Orange County and turn around what was a horrible start to his playoff run. Bell, with that win, was looking like he would make the championship 4, but there was still 1 race to go, and without a winner you're in, you could never be safe. That was the situation here for Kyle Larson, who made contact with Carson Hocevar again, wrecking the pair of them late in and hurting Kyle Larson's chances. You can see he's +8 to the cut line now, just trying to get in. A huge move from Hamlin got him ahead. A huge move from McDowell got him ahead, and Kyle Larson, as his teammate William Byron would wreck, would be eliminated from the playoffs. And then we headed to the championship finale. Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, and Michael McDowell were the four who were racing for a championship at Kansas. It came down to Elliott versus Hamlin in these final 3 laps. Denny Hamlin was just looking for a spot to make his move. He got a tiny bit of air, taking a slightly higher line, as high as he could go, before getting to the outside of the 9 of Chase Elliott and completing the pass through turns 1 and 2 with a little bit of contact on corner exit. Hamlin would finally break through and pull away. Denny Hamlin would win the Season 6 championship. It was a strong season all around for the 11 team, scoring multiple victories, his strongest season yet. And although Elliott had a major last-ditch effort into turn 3, it simply was not enough. Denny Hamlin is your Season 6 champion. He hopes to repeat here in Season 7. What'll happen? It's about time to find out.
If that doesn't get you hyped today, I don't know what will. It's the biggest day in racing. Daytona, are you guys ready for some action today?
I think they're ready based off the reaction from that crowd. When we come back to Daytona, we'll cover all of the big topics and headlines coming into today's race. Make sure to stay tuned because the Great American Race is right around the corner.
I'll never go on like this, so don't you think you got me again? I can't seem to deal with this. You try so hard to pull me in.
Welcome back to the Daytona 500 pre-race show here in Season 7 for the NASCAR Pepsi Cup Series. It would be wrong to start off by talking about anyone but the pole sitter today. Leading the field to green is a familiar face and a new place. It's Chase Briscoe. Briscoe made the move to Joe Gibbs Racing to replace the now retired Martin Truex Jr., and Briscoe is immediately making an impact on the racetrack, putting that number 19 Bass Pro Shops machine on the pole in his first career start in a Toyota.
Briscoe said over the course of a week that his car isn't as good in the draft, but say he gets out to clean air, that could be different. But despite all that, he still came away with a 6th place finish in Duel 1. Whether Briscoe fixes or woes is not yet to be decided, but I'm sure crew chief James Small is working hard with everyone back in that race shop to help the 19 car handle better in the draft.
I would agree with that. I mean, obviously, you want to win the Daytona 500, so I guarantee they've been working overnight to make sure that they get these problems fixed, as they probably understand they're not going to be able to hold the lead all race, and they're going to have to work through the field at some point, so they want to make sure that the car runs well in the pack. But he will be starting first, so at the start of the race, it won't be a problem. But with this being Daytona, it's almost certainly going to find himself outside the top 5, as I said earlier. So I guarantee you they've been making adjustments. We'll just have to see if I was proven correct.
Having that moment be sooner rather than later could be a huge benefit for the team. You never want to deal with an handling car inside of 10 to go at Daytona.
And then trust me, I know in the duels we had to deal with that. It was tough, but somehow we got in. Briscoe may be starting up front, but his fellow front row starter, Kyle Larson, will not be. Although he qualified second on Wednesday, a crash yesterday in his duel will send the number 5 car back to the back for a backup car due to the crash. And Larson, he hasn't really had that much luck on super speedways. We've known this. It feels like he always just gets caught up in a big wreck, or he has some sort of mechanical failure, alluding back to the spring Talladega race in season number 6. But he still thinks that the backup car prepared by HMS and Cliff Daniels is good enough to get him up to the front early. We'll see if that happens once the race gets underway.
It'll be tough once they get 3 wide, but if he can start in the 3rd lane, he will definitely have a shot to go from back to front as early as lap 4 is 5, as we've seen in the past. These guys like to go through wide pretty early, get that fuel saving in. Fans may not like it, but it's what the drivers gotta do.
And keep in mind, when we say Larson is going quote unquote to the back. Realistically, he'll be starting in the 20s because of how many people are joining him. An absurd amount of cars had issues in the duels and throughout practice as well, as the wreck that claimed Larson, just his wreck alone, claimed over 15 of the 24 runners in his respective duel yesterday, which sent nearly two-thirds of the field to backup cars. So although it's not a great situation, he definitely has been aided a lot. So we'll see if he can make the most of that as the race goes on.
Yeah, it was just a massive crash, sparks flying, Larson all squirrely off of Kyle Busch's bumper before spinning up the track, and essentially blocking it, nowhere to go. Many favorites such as Bell, Gibbs, and more were involved.
But I mean, even though it's the dual race, I mean, you have to make these moves because I mean,
Oh yeah, definitely.
although your goal is to not wreck the car, the incentive by finishing higher is that you get a better start in the Daytona 500, and who knows where that could go. So drivers are still going to be aggressive, even though there's no points on the line. Behind Briscoe and Larson on the grid is our two dual winners from yesterday that were able to survive from the chaos, Carson Hocevar and Austin Dillon. Both drivers said they have very strong cars and have good odds coming into the race, but the best odds, that will be the driver right behind him, and that is NASCAR's perennial most popular Chase Elliott. He's put on a clinic on super speedways in the Pepsi Cup Series, as he has led a lap in every points-paying race back since he had a crash took him out in the early in the season 3 Daytona 500. Actually, in the last, the reason why we had to change the statistic is because in the clash earlier in the month, Elliott did not lead a lap, so we had to change that stat. Unfortunately, big stat that'll probably be a confidence crusher, but we'll see. Elliott lines up fifth today in another fast and good Napa number 9 car. We'll have to see if he can make the most of it.
Yeah, I'd look out for Chase out there. He's our most recent Daytona. He won in our most recent Daytona race back in the summer last year. He's looking to finally win the Daytona 500, despite all the times he's came close in his career. Can he do it today? We'll see.
We'll see. And lastly, before I have to head out to prepare and drive my car, I guess, rookies have been a hot topic this year, but one has definitely stood out from the rest, has had a lot of hype around him. It's not me, unfortunately. I'm only running a few races, and they're
Yeah.
probably all going to be super speedway races. Yeah. I mean, it's all I can afford. I mean, I'm grateful for the opportunity that Firelinks Motorsport gave me. Anyways, this isn't about me. That rookie, however, in question is the young 18-year-old phenom Connor Zilisch. Zilisch will be making his first ever NASCAR Pepsi Cup Series start today for points, and he does so from about mid-pack. Kobe, as you know, you have given a lot of attention to Connor Zilisch over the past little bit. It's been very clear that you think he's very promising and that he's going to do big things. What do you think of the 99 car today? How he's going to do at a restrictor plate track like Daytona?
I think today's going to be a learning day for Connor. You've seen in the Xfinity Series, he can race at the front of these pack races. Obviously, hasn't had the greatest of luck as of Talladega in the spring last year. But obviously, the goal for Connor and that 99 team is to win. We know that, but Zilisch does need the experience in this car if he wants to go to the goal of becoming a future champion. Without playoffs, however, he doesn't have a lot of time to get accustomed to the next gen, so we'll see how he does.
You think he could potentially win this year? As once again, we say that he has all this talent, but do you think he's going to be able to put his money where his mouth is and get a win this season?
I could see it happening. You know, there's a couple races this season where I'd put my money on him. Not a ton, but enough where, you know, if he wins, that'll be a good little bit of cash in your pocket. Maybe
Yeah.
race 7 or 8 at the earliest, but it'll be a couple weeks.
I'm not exactly sure if he'll win a race this year. I'm not saying he can't, but we'll just have to see how it goes. Obviously, we know Connor is very good on road courses. Despite being a very good all-around driver, it's very clear that that is his strong suit. Maybe he can pick up a road course win, as we have a few of them, I believe, this season. Um, I don't see Trackhouse giving him the speed as we've seen in the real life NASCAR Cup Series. They have struggled a bit outside of Ross Chastain, but I think that's more Chastain doing a carry job to the real Trackhouse team. Um, Unfortunately, I'm running out of time. I have to prepare off to go racing in the Great American Race. But when we return, Kobe Lavin will take you guys through the pre-race ceremonies, and he'll do the carry job for the midway.
Welcome back to Daytona, everyone. The Daytona 500 is right around the corner. But before we start, we have to head trackside. It's time for our picks to win. Unfortunately, I'm the only one picking these since we all know Michael's going to be rooting for himself. But after all this, I'm going to go with my pick to win. Let's see. Let me just pull up the odds real quick. I'm going to go with the 38 of Zane Smith. I think he has had great speed throughout the week. Showed it in the duels. I think he is going to be able to get done today. And with that out of the way, let's get the show on the road and kick our pre-race ceremonies.
We now ask that you rise if you are able and remove your hats as the American Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Will Reagan, known as the Southeast Cup Series on YouTube, gives today's pre-race invocation.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I pray that you protect all the drivers here today. I pray that you protect the fans here in attendance. I pray that you protect everyone watching this race at home. And I pray that anyone serving our country at home and overseas is protected by your grace. In Jesus' name, amen.
And now, to honor America with the singing of our national anthem, please welcome bandolero and quarter midget up-and-coming superstar, Tegan Noland.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
What a great job by Tegan Noland, and what a flyover here. Wow, that was loud. When we return to Daytona, we'll crank the engines. Welcome back to the Daytona 500, where we are finally ready to go racing. Now, let's head down trackside to fire the engines for the 7th Pepsi Cup Series Daytona 500.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for that moment you have all waited for. Here to give the command for the 7th running of the Pepsi Cup Series Daytona 500, please welcome Speed Cup Stop Motion.
What's up, Daytona? Who's ready to get the Pepsi Cup Series season number 7 underway? The without any further ado, drivers, start your engines!
What a sweet, sweet, amazing, beautiful sound. I love to hear that every February. The Daytona's 500 is finally here. It's the biggest race of the season. It's the biggest race of your life. Who is going to win it? Daytona 500 is finally here.
Hello and welcome everybody to the Daytona 500, the Great American Race. I am Ethan Shield, joined by Timothy Brown here in the booth, and we are in for a spectacular race today, aren't we, Tim?
Yes, we are. We've seen a lot of crazy actions throughout these speed weeks between the Clash and the duels. We're going to probably see a lot more of that today.
Today, 40 drivers will battle it out to realize a dream here on the high banks of Daytona over the next 25 laps. A Daytona 500 trophy is on the line, and a win to kickstart this season and the championship run as well here in Season 7.
Yeah, Ethan, and we're going to jump into our ones to watch here at Daytona for the Daytona 500, and we're going to start with the number 77 of Carson Mohon.
Yeah, Carson had a strong run, ended up winning his duel. He will start inside of row number 2 on this warm and sunny afternoon. Can that 77 car find himself in victory lane? Who knows, but he's going to have to beat Chase Elliott today. Chase has been one of the strongest on super speedways in these past couple of seasons. Can the 9 car pull through like he did last time we were here at Daytona? We'll find out. Ross Chastain is another strong competitor here today. That 1 car showed speed in the duels, although he never really got to the front of the pack to lead. But today's the day where it all matters for that one team. And William Byron in that 24 has been strong on the super speedways, but he's had some pretty bad luck recently. Kind of like his teammate Chase Elliott had before winning. Can the 24 be the next Hendrick driver to pull through? Or will it be someone else? Bubba Wallace has his own Daytona 500 win here in the Pepsi Cup Series. Need to go all the way back, not too far, to Season 5 to find that race. Bubba lines up mid-pack today, looking for a good finish. We are just about ready to roll off here at the world's center of racing. Chase Briscoe will lead the field to the green. He's alongside Kyle Larson for now, but Larson will have to drop to the back after crashing it in the duels.
And in our second row here, Carson Hocevar and Austin Dillon rounds that row up.
Chase Elliott is alongside Justin Haley in row number 3.
And in row 4 is Ross Chastain, one of the drivers to watch for, and Corey LaJoie in the 15.
Row 5, we have William Byron alongside Josh Berry.
Row 6, Denny Hamlin next to Michael McDowell in the 31.
Row 7, it's the 38 of Zane Smith and the 58 of Michael Avery.
In row 8, we got a pair of Toyotas of Bubba Wallace and Christopher Bell.
Pair of Fords behind them, Brad Keselowski, and driving his former ride, Matt DiBenedetto.
Rounding up your top 20 is Eric Jones next to Justin Allgaier in the 10.
Connor Zilish starts 21st in his first career Pepsi Cup start. He lines up alongside Ty Gibbs.
And in row 12, AJ Allmendinger next to Todd Gilliland.
Ryan Blaney and John Hunter Nemechek make up row number 13.
Row 14, Ethan Shield alongside Kyle Busch.
That's me. Greg Biffle is alongside Chris Buescher in row 15, rounding out your top 30.
And in row 16, Alex Bowman in the 41 Haas car next to Tyler Reddick in the 45.
Riley Herbst, another open entry, lines up alongside Shane Van Gisbergen.
Joey Logano in row 18 next to Ryan Preece, a pair of Fords in row 18.
Chandler Smith is in row 19 alongside Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
And rounding out your field here today is Noah Gregson next to Nick Morris.
There's your field of 40 competitors here today as we get ready to go racing in the Great American Race. Here's a look at today's race info. 25 laps. The fuel is about 13 to 15 laps. Might see some short pitters. Track position matters with the next gen car, and you have to look out for the big one here because it's almost destined to happen. Now let's head down for some pre-race breaking stories.
Chase Briscoe comes into today's race sitting on the pole. His team knows they have work to do on the car when in the back, so crew chief James Small has told Chase to try and keep track position all day long.
Chase Elliott has run yet another super speedway rocket ship this weekend. That 9 car is the same chassis that won here at Daytona in the night race in Season 6, so look for Chase Elliott to be a major threat.
Ross Chastain starts inside the top 10 today, and his goal is to stay up there. Ross believes that with some small handling adjustments after yesterday's duel, that he can win the Daytona 500. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Thanks for that, KKCS. We are getting ready to go green. Kyle Larson and all the other guys who need to drop to the back are doing so, and the pace car is headed for pit road, where hopefully it'll stay for the next 25 laps. Green flag is in the air. Season 7 is officially underway.
They roar down in the turn number 1. Austin Dillon, who was supposed to start 4th, is alongside Chase Briscoe for the lead as they rocket down the back straightaway.
First time down the Daytona backstretch and into the high banks of turns 3 and 4. Austin Dillon is alongside Chase Briscoe. Briscoe leads the first lap as the Bass Pro Shops cars are controlling this race.
Yes, they are, as Chase Briscoe gets a little bit of an edge out front due to being on the inside line, but here comes Haley and Austin Dillon back on the outside.
Briscoe getting help from Hocevar. Dillon getting help from Haley, the other Spire car. They will come across the line dead even once again. It's been gridlock for these first 2 laps. Not necessarily what you want to see early here, but I mean, the pace is backing off a lot right now. They are definitely fuel saving.
Yeah, and you see Michael Avery now having to run on the outside. He has a little bit of help, and he's charging his way to the front.
Kyle Larson, who we mentioned dropped to the back. I mean, it wasn't really the back because so many people crashed yesterday in the duel, but I mean, he still started high 20s as Briscoe goes up for a block. But Larson, from outside the top 20 to almost the race lead here on just lap 4.
And for the most part there, it was just Avery and Larson up top, but you see a lot of more people have joined them now. See Nick Morris is climbing his way through the field as well.
Kyle Busch in that 8 car, pushing Kyle Larson in the 5. Yesterday, remember that turned into a massive wreck entering turns 1 and 2. Hopefully things will work better here. I mean, they are fuel saving right now, so they will be giving each other more space. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah, Larson trying to control the lanes here. Dillon's still on the bottom with Briscoe in tow, as the whole field is 3 wide with 20 laps to go.
Yeah, and that last lap, the average lap speeds were up, and Kyle Larson is trying to push this pace, it looks like, in that 5 car. Trying to maintain some track position and maybe get some of the dominant cars who had to drop to the back still back there as Michael Avery starts to fall back in that 3rd line. He's gotten down in front of the 2nd line actually now as we are done with 6 laps, on to the 7th.
As they go down the back straightaway, it is starting to single file out a little bit here up front. Here comes Carson Mohon and Austin Dillon for the lead.
Dillon on the outside, looks like he stalls out, and we're back to side-by-side racing for the lead. This time it's Larson on the inside. Whoa, did you just see that snap there from Austin Dillon? I mean, he almost just lost it.
Yeah, that could have been really bad right up front on lap 8 of 25. You see Avery is also behind Hocevar. They're trying to push out front as Austin Dillon is clear now.
Dillon's clear. Hocevar's clear. They both drop down and leave Avery up top as Avery is getting a shove from the 7 of Justin Haley, and the 15 of Corey LaJoie is still in the mix right now.
Yeah, make sure to watch out for Haley this entire race. He won the Bud shootout as Austin Dillon's still in the lead as we rocket down the back straightaway.
It's Dillon, then Hocevar, then Larson all slotting in. Pit window should open around lap 11 or 12, so we'll look out for that, and we are closing in on that halfway, also coming up at the end of lap 12, I believe. So we have to Look out for that as well, because there are points on the line. Will some of these guys pit before or after? I just saw a hand out the window from Austin Dillon. It looks like they're going to be coming down pit road this time. Oh, we got trouble. Kyle Larson spins around. I see smoke coming out of the 19 of Chase Briscoe. We saw him just at the top of the screen as that wreck was happening as well. Major damage for some big contenders.
Yeah, Larson went from the back all the way to the front after qualifying second. And man, what a hard hit for him off turn 4. And the first caution of the day is out coming to lap 11.
Dillon and Hocevar were the only two who got to pit road there. And Kyle Larson was trying to come down to pit road, it looked like. And Briscoe just didn't see it coming and ran in the back of him. Could definitely see a tire up there on the 19.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I don't know if Larson put his hand out the window or not, but Briscoe did not see it coming for sure, and he might have had help from Elliott out back. But man, both of them have damage, and so does Hocevar.
Larson managed to get himself to the front quick, and it was all for nothing because that 5 car again is out on a super speedway. Chase Briscoe leads the pack on to pit road here for some caution pit stops. Let's head down to pit road.
Chase Elliott says the car is perfect for him right now and is ready to attack. 4 tires and fuel for the 9 team.
Michael Avery is in and reports that the car is just slow right now. Avery's team is going to change the tire pressure and try to decrease the contact patch with the road and speed it up. 4 tires and fuel.
Race off pit road is won by Chase Briscoe, and we'll be right back after this from Daytona.
Number 4, we are green flag racing.
Welcome back to Daytona. Problems from Michael Avery on pit road. A terrible stop has dropped him over 20 spots. I believe he was 3rd coming into the pits and cycles out 25th for this restart.
Very unfortunate for him. We're going to restart here on lap 12. He should be able to get all the spots back if he plays his cards right on the outside lane with 3 wide moves as we head back to green.
Yeah, Michael did that very thing on the initial start. It'll be a bit tougher here since he's starting on the inside lane for this restart, but we're back to green here in Daytona. Austin Dillon leads this field back to green alongside Carson Hocevar.
I feel like this outside lane is going to be a little bit deadly here. You see Byron and Elliott are bumper to bumper, 2nd and 3rd in line as their Hendrick teammates.
Yeah, oh, big move from Elliott. This top line is stronger at Daytona than it is at Talladega because of the tighter radius around the corner. It's not too much of a difference, but it is a little, and that allows that 3rd lane to also come into bigger play here at Daytona International Speedway as the outside lane making a charge. Now Byron leaves his teammate Elliott hanging.
Oh, and almost contact there between Elliott and Hamlin as they're going to be 3 wide for the lead. Byron and Elliott are separated with Gibbs and Hamlin on the top with Christopher Bella's help.
Byron barely over Hamlin, takes the halfway, and Hocevar, Elliott, and Gibbs round out the top 5. You see the rest of the top 10 there as they work their way down the back straightaway. Elliott in the middle, Byron and Hamlin, who was inside and outside. Oh, Avery.
Michael Avery has spun. It looks like they stay green. They're still 3 by 3 for the lead. I want to mention Michael McDowell in the 31 in the middle of that. He's been up here all of a sudden now on this restart.
You see Avery's gotten back going as a huge push for... Oh, no! Chase Elliott around. Carson Hocevar gets some airtime, and the big one strikes at Daytona. The entire pack is involved in this one. Ross Chastain with damage. Connor Zilish going through it, smoking. Ryan Blaney, AJ Allmendinger, Ty Gibbs, Justin Haley, Chase Elliott. Many cars involved in this major pileup at the midway point.
A horrendous crash there entering turn 3. And I mean, when you talk about the whole field, I think at least 25, 30 cars were involved in that. I mean, everyone is out.
It had to be at least 25. I mean, that was everybody. The track was blocked. There was nowhere to go. You see the 34 involved, the 11, the 31. some great days coming to an end early. Nemechek on pit road. There's Allgaier, Buscher. You see half of Haley there. So many people involved. Zane Smith, Connor Zillish. There's another car there, a purple car. Looks like it might be Noah Gregson. Yeah, it is. So, I mean, so many cars involved.
Yeah, for sure. And I hope we can look at a replay in a second. I'm pretty sure the red flag is out, or at least it was out for a moment. So you see Christopher Bell going down pit road, and Byron is your leader.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised they haven't red flagged this thing yet. I mean, there's a look at what happened to Michael Avery. It was a push from Ethan Shield, team owner, who sent him wrecking right there. And wow, he almost came right back up the track. Almost, I'm sure a lot of guys wish he did, because that would have stopped the big one from happening a lap later if he came back up into Priest there. And then there's the big one.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely everyone involved. Elliott got hooked to the top, and he came back down, and it's just track blocked from there. I mean, you see everyone in the back of the pack also got involved because, like Ethan said before, the track was blocked, and there's nowhere for any of these cars to go. You see Hocevar with a huge hit, Gibbs involved, McDowell, Elliott, Hamlin, and it's probably going to be easier to tell you guys who isn't involved.
Yeah, Corey LaJoy's caught up. You see the 15 car, his day is over by the looks of it. Some cars at the back did manage to squeak through. You saw Shane Van Gisberg in there. I believe Matt Benedetto was part of that group. Eric Jones, I think, made it through unscathed. Ryan Priest, Joey Logano. So, I mean, a decent amount of the field did get through, but still a lot of people involved. Greg Biffle there. You hate to see it, but we're getting ready for a restart here on lap 17. We'll have 8 laps to go when we take the green.
Yep, and you see the 2 and the 24 are on your front row. And row 2, you still see Briscoe, so Briscoe and Byron were the best benefactors out of that, as they were already up front and were still to make through the wreck. As we're back to green.
Yeah, Byron and Briscoe. You'd have to say they're the favorites now. Whoa, that's someone, I think that was Herbst, maybe, just got really sideways and knocked out of line. And that's going to kill the momentum of the outside lane, it looks like. And Byron is clear, Briscoe is clear, and Logano is clear. And Joey hops up in front of his teammate. I was just about to say, wouldn't be surprised if he did that.
Yeah, 3 4s in the top. Byron and a Toyota of Briscoe on the bottom. You see Ethan Shield peeking in the frame, 3rd on the bottom as well.
What's that guy doing? I know that guy. He's me.
Whoa!
He's supposed to be in the booth coming. Whoa! Big slide right there as Matt DiBenedetto powers to the lead, and we have trouble.
Michael
Avery.
Oh.
Avery impacts the wall. AMR safety team on the scene immediately. And his 2nd wreck and 3rd misfortune of the day is going to end it this time. Michael Avery's Daytona 500 run is over. So I guess we'll have him back on the midway for the post-race once he's out of the infield care center. But you hate to see it. Looks like he just came up, I think, right there. Yep. Cleared himself off of Chandler Smith, unfortunately.
Yeah, it looks like he might have gotten the all clear from the spotter or something. But yeah, he definitely cleared himself there. Very unfortunate for the 58. Ever since that bad pit stop, the day has basically gone downhill for him. And yeah, just very unfortunate.
Yeah, as now you see Ryan Priest fakes, stays out, and Logano is going to come on down pit road. Let's head down for a report.
Joe Logano pits just to be safe on fuel. He will take 4 tires while they're at it for some added grip.
Briscoe surprisingly pits after what sounded like a disagreement on the radio. Briscoe unwillingly pits and is now going to lose some track position late.
Joey Logano, first off of pit road here. Chase Briscoe 2nd. Not a lot of people came in, but these guys will be safe in the case of an overtime, which has happened in a lot of Daytona races. As there you see Matt DiBenedetto in the 2 car. He's currently your race leader. He was oh so close last year and got taken out on the last lap in Season 6. He now has a redemption chance here as Joey Logano lines up, I believe that said P20.
Seems like it, but we're going to restart with 6 laps to go here at Daytona. Is this going to be the last caution? We're back underway.
Up through the gears and down into turn one. Takes about 3/4 of a lap or so to get these cars up to speeds with the restrictions in the engines for super speedway racing. As Ryan Preece, whoa, he just had a huge wiggle right there, and William Byron gets to the inside of him coming out of turn number 4 and back to the line. Byron leads, 5 to go from Daytona.
Look at the 88, Shane Van Gisbergen, all the way up to third, or he was for a moment, as they're down in 1 and 2. De Benedetto and William Byron, 1-2 as they head down the back straightaway contact. There they go, multiple cars around. Gisbergen in the wall hard. The 47 in the wall. Ethan Shield involved as well. And Matt De Benedetto, who was in the back for the majority of the race, got to the front after the big one, is now involved in this accident here with 5 to go.
Again, 2 seasons in a row for De Benedetto, and he was oh so close, right up at the front with a shot to win it. It all comes apart in the closing laps. Shane Van Gisbergen is out of the race. So is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Hard hits for them. There's Shield and Jones in the pits repairing their cars, as now we're going to get to take a look at what happened. And I think De Benedetto just came up in front of Priest, tried to get up there, block that lane, maybe get a run past the 24 of Byron, and he just wasn't clear. Priest might have some damage here as well.
Yeah, that's just very unfortunate for these guys. It did look like a bad bump from Gisbergen, and then it just kind of shot the 2 up the track into Priest. And it looks like Priest is going to probably have some left front damage there. Hard impact for De Benedetto and Gisbergen. There's another big wreck here late in the race.
Second big one of this race. Very reminiscent of one of the late crashes in the summer race back in season 6. As here come some cars down pit road, I would assume, to fix damage and top off on fuel. So let's head down to Kobe Lavin.
Thanks, guys. What a race it has been so far. William Byron still leads with 500 with what looks to be like the best car left. But Priest on the outside lane looks so strong too, and will have help from Brad Keselowski here in the restart. Many drivers had unfortunate ends to their days, such as Chase Elliott and Carson Mohon, who were both right up front before the big one collected them a few laps ago. Matt Di Benedetto, unfortunately, will come up short after being right up front for the 2nd season in a row. If you remember back here last season, it was turn 1 on the final lap where he went careening out of control into the outside wall. There is still so much that could happen on this next restart. The race is barely over, so let's head back up to the booth with Ethan and Tim.
Thanks, Kobe. William Byron is your race leader. Ryan Preece in second, however, may be struggling on fuel. More on that coming.
Ryan Preece may be close on fuel, but it's too late for him to come down unless he actually runs out. A risky play to win the 500 for Preece's 60 team.
Thanks for that, CRC. There's Joey Logano in the 22. He's the first who was absolutely safe on fuel. He made up a lot of spots from that crash, and quick move on the restart, and we'll be back for this next restart here after this.
Ever since we hired Dale Jr. at IHOP, breakfast has been moving fast.
All right, more plates of pancakes, gotta serve, table green, go, go, go!
Huh? Is that Dale Jr.?
Order for catering? Look, it's pancakes!
Dine-in delivery catering.
Will you sign my pancakes?
I could really go for some pancakes right now. Anyways, we're back here at Daytona, getting ready for the restart. William Byron and Ryan Preece on the front row. 3 laps to go. History says there's another caution on the way. Here we go, though. 3 to go. We are back under green in Daytona.
I want to mention this now. I don't think there's that many cars left to this race without damage. Byron has been the dominant car of the day, but Priest takes the lead away with help from Brad Keselowski.
Critically, though, Priest chooses to get down in front of Byron and leaves his teammate out, as now Byron gets shuffled and they're back together. 4 wide for a second. Here comes Allmendinger to the bottom.
Here comes Haley, your Bud Shootout winner. He's coming up to the front with all the damage on his car. RFK is going to try and work together and win the race with 2 laps to go.
down the back straightaway. A lap and a half to go. It's AJ Allmendinger leading the way. Ryan Preece with Brad Keselowski. Here comes the push on the outside. Allmendinger tries to block. He's a bit late. 1 lap to go. Ryan Preece leads. Brad Keselowski takes him back down to the bottom. Preece follows suit. Tyler Reddick is there in third, the outside lane, led by Justin Haley. Now Logano steps out with help from William Byron. Blaney in the middle, trying to push Logano up. Preece blocks it, barely. Trouble
Pit wreck.
behind, hard hit for Preece. It's over. Ryan Preece wins the Daytona 500. I think I said that Preece hit the wall back there.
Good job, boys. Super proud
It
of
was
you guys.
actually Blaney. But Ryan Preece wins the Daytona 500. Brad Keselowski, his own teammate, pushing him to the win instead of stepping out. And Joey Logano almost got there, but just came up short.
The team owner of Ryan Preece, Brad Keselowski, being a great teammate and pushing Ryan Preece to the Daytona 500 victory. We had a huge crash in turn 4, taking Ryan Blaney and several others.
Yeah, hard hits for Blaney and Reddick specifically into the outside wall there as Ryan Preece can now celebrate a Daytona 500 victory. And Tim, I don't know about you, but I am really surprised. I mean, I knew Keselowski was a team player, but I would have never expected him to stay in line there.
Yeah, me neither. He's yet to win one of these things. But man, Ryan Preece, after staying in the back, gets up to the front after the big one, avoids the madness, gets it done, and is a Daytona 500 winner.
Yeah, unbelievable drive from Ryan Preece there in those final couple of laps to manage the lanes. Obviously had some help from teammate Brad Keselowski, but you can't, give Keselowski all the credit. Ryan Preece did a lot there, including getting past Allmendinger once again, getting a great restart. He did a great job. And again, that decision by Keselowski to not make a move is going to be talked about for a long time because, he's winless in the Pepsi Cup Series. Ryan Preece has a win from Atlanta last season. So definitely a shocker here in the Daytona 500. There you see some of the rest of the results. Ryan Blaney ends up 22nd after crashing on the final lap, along with John Hunter Nemechek, Christopher Bell, Nick Morris, and Tyler Reddick. What a race, Tim.
Yeah, I have absolutely no words. I'm glad we didn't see a flip in this race, but in hindsight, we saw a ton of cars with damage, a ton of cars destroyed, a ton of hard hits. But all in all, Ford came out on top.
Yeah, let's head back down to the midway with Kobe and Michael.
Thanks, Ethan. The Daytona 500 is wrapped up now, and Ryan Preece is champion of the Great American Race for the first time in his career. Ryan made his way from 36th to first today. Wow, what a stat. Since the drop of the green flag, truly one of the more impressive runs in Pepsi Cup history. Right, Michael?
For sure, Kobe. Definitely have to agree. He did have a little bit of help from his teammate Brad Keselowski there at the end. We've known that RFK, they have historically been very good at super speedways. Haven't really been able to get the job done, but finally they do, and it matters the most in the biggest race of the season. They did a good job getting to the front, as mentioned, and then they did the other part of the task, which was holding off the hard-charging pack behind. Let's take a moment while he's brought up to talk about Brad. Surprisingly, he chose to push his new teammate and the driver of the 60 to, instead of trying to win his first 500 himself. Not only would have been Keselowski's first Daytona 500 win, but it would have been his first career win in the NASCAR Pepsi Cup Series as well. And another thing I'd like to add, it would also be the first ever Pepsi Cup win for a driver owner in the series. So that would have been an interesting little statistic to include, but unfortunately, we were robbed of that.
Yeah, surprisingly, another crazy stat about Brad is he also is one of the full-time in the NASCAR Pepsi Cup Series who does not have a win, with the other being Eric Jones. Brad's also statistically the best driver to have not won a race in series history. Shocking stuff.
Yeah, it really is. He's been very good. You can tell he has race-winning pace a lot of the time, but despite that, just can't put it all together. However, though, RFK, we've said that they look to be very strong this year, and they showed it today in the 500. This win today will make Ryan Preece the team's most winningest driver in Pepsi Cup Series history as he passes Chris Buescher by getting them his second win today. Kozlowski and Newman both failed to win for Roush/RFK in the past, and Brad definitely helped Preece hold off a hard charge from Joey Logano, his former teammate, who also did have a great day today.
Yeah, Logano had the seas part for him. Damn it. Yeah, Logano had the seas part for him through there towards the end. He restarted deep in the field after pitting to ensure he had enough fuel and managed to climb all the way back to third in just the final 6 laps, picking up 17 positions, looking like Dale Earnhardt out there. He found teammate Ryan Blaney late, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough time to pass the RFK teammates up front. Still a great day from the Penske duo, Blaney and Logano.
Yeah, one more lap, and I think Joey Logano would have been the winner today. As we have seen, especially in real life NASCAR Cup Series recently, if Joey Logano gets an opportunity 9 times out of 10, he will make the most of it. Although Ryan Blaney is still being mentioned, as we were about to talk about him, he has been seen and released from the infield care center following that hellacious crash on the final lap. Tyler Reddick as well, alongside everyone involved in that crash that happened towards the end. The wreck was a pretty rough one to see, as you all should be able to see now on the screen.
How about Alex Bowman? He lost his Hendrick ride to Noah Gragson last season, sat on the sidelines for a full season, finds himself a mid-tier ride, and instantly overperforms, finishing 6th today. What a run for the 41 Haas factory team car.
Although he may have had a down season in season number 5, perhaps maybe Hendrick could have underrated him a little bit, maybe just needed to give him a second chance. And that car, although some luck was involved with being able to navigate through those crashes, it was very fast today, and I'm very happy to see Alex Bowman getting the results that he has worked so hard for, especially since he was on the sidelines last season. Had to be very tough for him to see someone else driving the car that he was. Another driver who was less fortunate, unfortunately, was ruined to be what could have been. AJ Allmendinger led this race with under 5 miles to go and didn't even manage to get a top 10 after a failed block that got him stuck alone in the middle lane.
Yeah, just really tough stuff for AJ. He had such a great chance today for a breakthrough win. Would have changed his career, changed his life. But he's going to have to wait, it looks like. I like what we saw of that 16 car today, though. Could be fast on not only the road courses, but potentially the ovals later this season, as we know AJ is a road course ringer.
Yeah, once again, I said this in the pre-race. We do have a few road courses this season, and we also do have a few super speedways this season, so we'll see if AJ and colleague will be able to find some magic and win. But yeah, I agree. Colleague, they have a strong team overall, not just AJ's road course talents. So hopefully they have good fortune to get good results from here on out with said magic I said earlier. With a fun race today, Kobe, any final thoughts on today's race as Ryan Preece celebrates in victory lane?
I thought today's race was amazing. Showed good stuff with the Gen 7 car. Great way to start the season. I know people have complained about its problems, such as the diffuser, dirty air, and rigid body that doesn't like to crumble all that much and whatnot. But today's race was a great showcase of the good that this car can bring. Although early in we did see the everlasting problem of extreme fuel saving that completely disappeared in the second half of today's race. I thought it was fun, good to watch with lots of passing in 3 very unstable lanes, but that made it very entertaining and very racy.
I would have to agree. This car does have its flaws, unfortunately, but it still can race very good in the right situations, and hopefully we're in for another classic next time out in Allentown for race number 2 of Season 7. Anyways, that will wrap it up here from the Daytona International Speedway. Ryan Preece wins for the second time in his career and achieves a lifelong dream with a Daytona 500 victory. Next time out is the Reading Road of Anthracite 400 in the Allentown Speedway, located in Allentown, Pennsylvania. These drivers will go from the high banks of this 2.5 mile long super speedway to the flat 1 1/3 mile oval for a 35 lap race around Allentown. Thank you all so much for watching today's presentation of the NASCAR Pepsi Cup Series. From Ethan Shield and Timothy Brown in the booth to Carson Mohon, Cardboard Racing Central, and Kit Kat Cup Series in the pits. This is Kobe Lavin and Michael Avery signing off from Daytona.